Hey everybody, it's me again. Finally, right? So I wanted to come and talk to you guys about what has been up with me. So I don't know if you noticed anything missing, but that would be my breast. My breasts are definitely missing. Uh, what happened? So I was really getting anxious about this whole breast reconstruction surgery thing, and so I wanted to see what was I looking at? What were the costs involved in everything? I had never had an actual cost estimate done here in Redding, California. That aside, I went to a doctor to get that, and at the consultation, he told me that if it was really bothering me, how bad my implants looked, which if you've seen any of my other videos, they really were looking terrible. He said that he could deflate them for me. He said that a lot of times when women have saline implants, they go ahead and deflate them so that the capsule inside can kind of shrink, and then any kind of implants that you want to get afterwards can be placed, right? So the capsule is around, it's scar tissue that builds around the implant. So you almost have like an egg inside your boob, but it grows. And what happens is capsular contracture is one of the side effects that can happen in women who get breast implants, in that casing starts to tighten around the implant and it starts to mold it in all kinds of funky looking ways. So I was having that on the boob. That was super hard. I was having the capsular contractions in that breast. And then what happened with my right breast is, I guess some point during the military or what, being rough on my body, I don't know. But my breast, the one that was down and to the right, had actually created its own new pocket of tissue that it was moving into. So that explains what was going on with that. Now, I decided right then and there, I took my little like hallelujah, I'm a woman moment to like be like, to look at myself and decide I'm done. No more. I do not want to see these anymore. Some of you don't know, but my ex had a huge lust for bigger, bustier women, and I felt insecure in that. I felt I felt ugly for a long time, and then I got these implants, and I felt like everything was going to be better, and I just was in an abusive relationship, and then after all that time they ended up looking really weird, and I just didn't want a reminder of the life that I led, being in an abusive relationship and kind of having no self-esteem. I really wanted to just like cut out the last part of all of that going on with myself. So now I'm back in the itty bitty titty committee, right? Well, wrong, kind of, in a way, because now I have these deflated bags. So he just stuck a needle in it, and I'm going to have pictures that I'll post below in some of the comments, but he poked a needle in it and drained the saline out of my breast, and he did that on both sides. Now on the left breast, my flatter one here, you can see, let me see here, let me just pull this out for you. There's nothing to see, folks. Really nothing to see here. But I want you to get an idea. So these are the remnants of my cleavage. There's really not much there, especially on this side. I have like this little tiny little bit of flesh, and that's my breast. That's my breast, guys. This little wad of tissue. I obviously wanted the implants that had been deflated inside of me to come out eventually, but the doctor was like, some people leave them in for a long time and it never bothers them. So if it looks good, you may not even need to take them out. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm definitely probably going to take them out because it's going to look weird. It was right. And I just didn't really want them inside of me. So I figured, but this would give me time to decide what I want to do next, right? Now I've got them gone, and I'll go ahead and move in a forward direction with everything. Wrong. The next day, my breast on the right side had swollen huge. It was about this big. It was basically as big as my implants had become, or were the first time. And it hurt. It hurt everywhere. It hurt in my chest. It hurt into my arm. It hurt up my neck. It was swollen. It was hot. And I had to go in, and they said, the doctor who deflated them said, okay, we're going to need to aspirate. And he, I guess I assumed that, like, oh, maybe this happens all the time. Let me go back for one part of the story. When he was doing the original deflation of my breast implants, the left side that was hard had some yellowish fluid that was coming out when he was draining it. He said, would you like to send this in for cultures? And at that time, he said, it doesn't look like anything's really going on, so it's up to you if you want him. And I'm like, oh, well, if you're a doctor, if it doesn't sound like something's going on, I guess I pay for extra shit, right? So I said no. Next day, then I go in for this first aspiration, and I said, yeah, looking at the fluid that was coming out of me, it was like yellowy gunk coming out of me. And I was like, that's weird. Shouldn't be coming out of my body, right? Okay, go ahead and send that culture in, right? So they didn't send that culture in. And then about 4 days later or so, because there was a weekend in there, I had to go to the emergency room because the Vicodin that I was taking for the incredible amounts of pain, like, I did not realize that my tit could literally disable me from doing everything. I love working out, and I couldn't, everything. I was a mess. And then, so I go to the doctors at the ER, and they say you have a blockage because my intestines already don't like me. There have been years of anger that the two of us have, me versus the intestines, okay? Because those things, I get constipated so much. Ew, right? But I had just a huge blockage in me, and the doctors freaking gave me ketamine to try to break it up, a little TMI, but it didn't work. And I had to go to a colon hydrotherapist the next day, and I can't wait to show you guys that whole process because I'm going to do a video on that for anybody who's not totally disgusted by it. It's kind of cool. And still, right now, after the colon hydrotherapy and the digital de-impaction at the ER, have not had a bowel movement. Awesome. So I just have like infection in my body that I can't get out. And so I have another appointment on Thursday, tomorrow, so we'll see how things go. That's when I'm going to tape it. Now, the day after I go to my colon hydrotherapy session, I go back to the doctors, and I said, you need to aspirate again because it got huge again. It was burning. It was in pain, and I'm in pain in my belly, and I'm just a mess. And I say to him, please, please, please take this culture this time. So he pulls out and drains the liquid in my breast, and it's green, like a green goop, like Nickelodeon slime was coming out of my breasts. Okay, it was slime time with Alex's right booby. And yeah, that's pretty freaking disgusting to see. Not cool. So I said, send it in for culture. Well, it was the end of the day. They didn't send it in for a culture again. So this has been like 3 weeks in the progress of like everything that's infection, right? I don't know if you just heard. It's been about 3 weeks. So the last time I go back to the doctors, I called them. They said, you are going to send these in for cultures. Something's going on. I have to come in. You have to aspirate. I need to know what's going on in my boobs. Kind of a big deal to me. And I go back, and he aspirates, and the fluid this time is like root beer colored, like a dark ale. Like you could have drank a dark ale out of my breast. It was disgusting. And it had like floaties in it, like weird, like it looked like the things in oranges, like float. Anyways, I say anyways a lot, huh? Well, I'll use well. Well, he said, we're going to send this to go have cultures, but you need an entire capsulectomy, and you need it right away. Because at this point, I have had an active infection for almost 3 weeks. it has had me in bed. I have been so sick out of my mind, like delirious sick. And it, you know, how can that happen and have a child? It's just, it can't work, right? And being a mom, I'm a mom. I have to think of my health because I need health to be able to manage my life. It's not worth it. So now we're at a point where the cultures have been sent in. The doctor says to me at this last appointment that he's concerned I may be susceptible at this point to a cancer that the FDA has now admitted very recently that is predominant in women with implants. It is a very high risk factor, especially textured implants. Please do your research, people. Please, 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 please do your research. Look up I don't know, CL, ALCL. It's a cancer that your boobs can give you. And he tells me this, and he said, you know, well, you just got to get everything out of there. And I'm like, well, what if I eventually want to get implants placed again? And he's like, well, you can't do it right away because you need, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to let all this infection get out of me. He's like, yeah, you need to heal. Your body needs to heal. That makes sense. Okay. And he's like, then we'll, you know, we'll figure out about the cancer thing, I guess, when we pull him out of you. Oh, okay. And so how much is that going to cost to just take him out? Oh, in the area of like 4,000 to 6,000, depending on who you go to. This is real, guys. Okay, 10 years. At year 7, I started having issues. I was in the military. I was rough on my implants. That is true. What is also true is all of the side effects and the complications that I am now having are very real. I have had a huge paradigm change in my life where my aesthetics somehow all like just came crashing down. I was like, I don't need a spray tan now. Why spray tan? Because I have these mushy boobs. I'm not even pretty anymore. How could I model? I wasn't even like real modeling in these, but I'm like, how could I become a real model now, right? How about my health? I had to really learn to prioritize in these last couple weeks, and it was a huge deal to me. I have always been valued for my body in previous relationships, and so that's a big insecurity of mine, and one that I thought I had gotten closer to conquering. Well, now I've pushed myself into a place where I really have no choice, and to be honest, it's almost a relief. I feel responsible to the community of women out there who have had struggles with their breast implants. I feel responsible to my viewers to tell you everything that has happened. I mean, now this breast is still swollen, so it needs to, I need to have this one. So you can see this one's pretty flat. Like it's just, you can mash it. It's pretty flat to my chest. Yeah, there's nothing there. And this side, there's a little bit more over here. So it's actually like a boob. That's like where my one piece of cleavage is, right? This one, it's like he's lacking behind. But it's only cleavage because it's full of pus. Yuck. But it's real. So got to get these guys out of my chest. I wish I could cut them out myself. I could just take like a chainsaw and hack them off. No. So that's what I'm working on right now. And my decision really honestly is at this point, I don't think it's worth it to have replacement implants. It's another 10 years of possible side effects. It's another 10 years of possible like body wonkiness. I was looking like a creature, and I was crying to my man. I'm like, hey, you're gonna love me with these wrinkly, nasty old lady titties. And he's like, babe, when you met me, you already had wrinkly boobs, like, because I had a huge bunch of rippling on the side. I'm like, good point. All right. it's a real point. My body isn't everything that I am. And I want it to be strong. It's possible that when they take these implants out, that my diagnosis of lupus that I had like 4 or 5 years ago, that I possibly might not even have lupus, because a number of people who have breast implants, you're putting an implant into a part of your body that has your endocrine system running through it, that has your lymphatic system running through it, and you're disrupting it with a giant foreign object. And what does your body want to do? It wants to push that out of your body. It wants to reject it. Okay, I have had like a not great immune system my entire life, but that really threw things out of whack. Okay, so it's very possible that my autoimmune disorder may be related to this whole issue. And so I'm very interested to find out after they take these out if things improve. Maybe I'll be back to like my crazy me. Guys, it gets crazier than me here. This. I am for real like a super crazy fun lady, but I have been like clinically just a humbug. I've been like, anytime I get a lupus flare, I'm in bed, I'm sick, I'm dizzy, I have headaches. All of these things could be completely related to what's going on inside of me. And if it's cancer, it could definitely be related. So I will keep you guys updated on the labs when they come back. And I am currently doing research on some doctors here locally that I can, work on financing this procedure through. I am covered by VA insurance, so I'm going to go talk to the VA tomorrow and see what can be worked out. I do have 100% VA disability. So that being said, I am so happy that finally yesterday I started feeling like a human being again, and I pulled myself together enough to say tomorrow if I feel like this again, I'll make a video. And here it is. All right, guys, I love you so much. And thank you guys so much for commenting on my videos. If you like to listen to me talk and blab and gab, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, click that, pound it, hit that shit. Love you guys, bye.